Hi guys, just another walkthrough here. This is the WEB701 Milestone 2 Angular client prototype. As with the React prototype, you're going to need to have the WEB701 Milestone 2 Express server prototype on your device and have that running so we can access the REST APIs that it's providing. Okay, so we're in the README of my Angular GitHub. You can see we've got a bit of an overview of the prototype, some of its features there, how to install and run it with this command line. So what you're going to want to do is get yourself into, the actual repo and get yourself a clone, download, or fork. But either way, get this onto your local device. Once you've got it on there, you're going to want to open up some sort of code editor with a terminal, probably VS Code, I would imagine. Now, here's my Express API service. You can see that's running here. I'm just going to minimize that. And we are going to just open up. So you want wherever you have installed it, but open up your folder there. So lovely. So here we are. We'll just jump into our home page. So this is the Angular prototype. I'm just going to get this running on the server. So ionic serve to get this one fired up. Okay, so you can see this is it's interesting in Angular actually that we have for each page we actually have a block of associated pages. So say this is the HTML and this handles the view. This is what we actually see, but the TS down here handles the logic. The CS here would handle the styling. You see we've got like some styles for our pages in there, got a little bit of logic in here sort of thing. So yeah, really interesting. Anyway, but you can see here, sorry, this takes a little while to get going. It's actually the slowest one out of all the frameworks to actually run and do a few things. So that was one of my little findings there. But yeah, you can see here we're using these ion rows and ion columns are basically the same as the bootstrap row and column sort of idea. Cool, here we go. Okay, so this is the Angular prototype just loading up here. Excuse me. Okay, so you can see much like the React prototype, so we've got a bit of basic HTML with CSS styling. We've got a dynamic image slider on the home page here. We have active routes and active navigation. So I'll go to a login page, we'll go to a register page. Cool, and then I can go back to the home page. So we've got those active routes, got our dynamic slider here. So how that works, it's quite cool actually. It's very simple to implement this. So here, just in our view, we bring in these ion slides and ion slide individual slides to go in. So you can see we've got the 5 for our 5 slides. And then we just apply these options to it, and the options, I'll just follow that, coming from the home TS page. So you can see home HTML is using it, and then home TS has got this option. So the two are linked together and are always kind of in that model view controller relationship, always with the passing of the data. Okay, so the other interesting things we're doing is, of course, passing in some dynamic data. So that is coming out of a database here in the back. You can see we've got all our various people. So on our grower page, we display the growers who essentially we pull in all the users using the get user API route. Those users that have this value equals true, got apples member equals true or equals false, ones that are true will be displayed. So how does that look and how does that work? So we go to our grower page, it's just going to fire on rendering. So here we are, we're pulling in the data from our database. And if I want to check this, I can just inspect console, and there we go. I can see an array of objects coming in, and I can see it's all my users there. So if we jump into our code, and on the grower page TS, this is where this has been called essentially. So it's this little method here, get all users, and it's using HTTP get this data URL. This data URL is this string here, which is one of the get all users route from my API service. And this has been called by a bigger function here that also presents that loading spinner and then pops the data into a data object called this users, which is located up here. And it's called on init, which is essentially when the page is initialized, this will run. And then in the HTML, I use a ng-for, which is a for loop to iterate through the users objects array of users, pop them into an individual user, and then I use ng-if to say, okay, if the user is a member, member equals true, then we're going to show the username, the first name, last name, etc. Okay, so you've seen what that looks like. How do we know it's not magic? It is pretty easy to test. We're just going to change the value of one of our users here to make her a member of the Got Apples collective there. Okay, cool. That's all done. Now, if I refresh my page to pull in the fresh data, we should see Haley. Cool, there we go. Proof of concept. Haley has been added because she is now a user. We can see we've got our data. And if I just want to test it again, then again, I can just edit that value, go back, refresh, and she'll disappear from our list. Awesome, there we go. Proof of concept. Haley is gone from the list. Cool. So again, dynamic data handling and sorting coming from the MySQL database passed through by the Express API service. Cool. All right, so next will be the Vue prototype. So next on the agenda. Cool, enjoy.